Hello, this is Justice Backstrom, and welcome back to God, Guns, Gaming, and GOP. And today I'll be talking about guns. This is called God, Guns, Gaming, and GOP, and pretty much all I ever talk about is GOP. But yeah, I'm finally gonna be talking about something besides that. Although I'm still gonna be doing this from a GOP standpoint. Um, Anyway, so in recent years, there's been several acts of gun violence, and most noticeably, school shootings, and they seem to have broken out. I can't say exactly. I don't have the graphs right in front of me to say if it's really increased much. Um, but anyways, there's been definitely an increase in pushing for gun restrictions. Many states and cities have restricted people's gun rights, but it seems that this only makes the problem worse. While numerous people support gun control, perhaps a better way to stop the violence would be to implement an implied carry obligation. That's just what I'm calling this. Basically to incentivize people to carry. Now, to begin with, such a implied obligation would have some level of immediate pushback before implementation and protests after it, of course. Gun control activists argue that gun control keeps guns out of the wrong hands. However, if you think rationally about it, gun control prevents honest people who would be useful in stopping gun attacks, or from stopping attacks, from getting guns, thereby making them less capable of stopping those attacks. I hold that an armed populace is better at law enforcement than any law enforcement. With all due respect to all of our law enforcement, an armed populace is the best peacekeeping force. Anyways, meanwhile, the wrong hands already don't mind breaking the law and illegally obtaining guns. Whereas gun control activists have said that gun control, though it may not work all the time, would still prevent some level of gun violence. Now, this would work sort of like an antibiotic, preventing some, though not all, of certain diseases. Now, I would respond that having an armed populace would work like a probiotic rather than an antibiotic, by like how a probiotic empowers the immune system to work more easily and fight off disease, and it works more easily and more healthily and more naturally than antibiotics. Furthermore, even though we are facing a hypothetical increase in gun violence, one must still understand that guns aren't necessarily the enemy. In fact, I believe it's possible that many of these shootings were, in fact, in some way supported or instigated by gun control activists to draw unnatural attention to the gun control cause. Now, there is to my knowledge, no clear evidence to support this supposition, and I don't think there's been any gun control activists who have confessed to supporting or instigating any of these shootings, but it still remains a reasonable claim, as artificially increasing gun violence would have some obvious benefits for those who support gun control. Now, there is, however, another part to the fact that guns aren't necessarily the enemy, and that is the fact that guns don't increase murders or suicides. Don B. Cates and Gary Mauser, in their article, Would Banning Firearms Reduce Murder and Suicide?, arrive at the conclusion that guns indeed do not increase either murder or suicide, and that banning them would not reduce it. After all, people murder people, not because they have a gun, but because they want to murder people. People don't say, oh, I have a gun, I guess I'll go better murder someone. No, that never happens. Murderers are more likely to say, I want to kill so-and-so, my gun would be the easiest. If they don't have a gun, they'll do it with a knife. If not with a knife, then a club or a bludgeon, or through strangulation, or through any other means available. Anyways, with the reasons for this legislation hereby proposed out of the way, it only remains to establish what exactly this legislation would look like. This, like the previous argument, has two parts. The first of which is what exactly we will do. Unfortunately, there is no way that I know of to constitutionally require law or make a law requiring all men, let alone everyone in general, to carry guns. But there may be ways to incentivize carrying. One suggestion I have to offer is that men and women would be pressured to carry, just as they've been pressured to join armies for basically as long as history can tell us. On top of this, to incentivize carry, we could have, like, I don't know, organized shifts of people that carry certain days of the week or month or whatever, and we could incentivize carry by granting small tax cuts for those who like officially apply to carry. The other part of examining what this would look like would be to determine what the outcome would be. Now, in order to understand just how universal or nearly universal carry would prevent crime, one must consider whether an outlaw would rather open fire on a large group of armed citizens or unarmed citizens. Now, I'm guessing that most would agree that the unarmed group would be in much more danger than a group where anywhere between 50 and 25% of the members are carrying guns. Anyways, in conclusion, an implied carry obligation, or whatever you want to call it, incentivizing carry would probably have, well, no, just definitely have better results than gun control. Now, hopefully this would be enough to offset the increase of gun violence, because I do believe there is a level of increase of gun violence, and it would restore, hopefully, a measure of peace to our nation. Anyways, though, that's my spiel on gun control and all that. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you later. Bye.